My name's Holly Carr. I'm a slow fashion designer and maker. Pocket is a slow fashion brand, so everything's generally made to order, so I don't make things unless people show an interest and want to buy them. So I'm not creating this surplus of garments. I started to notice that there was a real need for sewers due to the PPE shortage, and I was really worried about all the disposable plastic-based masks and gowns and things that were being used. So I decided to create some reusable cloth masks and start selling those, which I sort of marketed through Facebook and email and took orders over the phone and on my doorstep and all sorts. So that really helped at that time. Felt like I was sort of providing this reusable, more eco-friendly alternative to disposable face masks. The quilt came about mainly because I was making the masks, and because of the shape of the pattern, it's quite hard to not have any wastage. So because of the curve, I get this little piece when I cut them out, like in the curve here. So I had all these small pieces that I couldn't use to patch together like I usually would to make a bigger fabric to cut to make more clothes. So I just came up with the idea of doing these paper pieced hexagons. So basically I took the paper waste from making my patterns and made the templates for those and started just sewing the scraps together one night, basically without much kind of prior planning, just kind of put the scraps together that I thought looked nice next to each other, and just kept sewing night after night, and eventually a year later, or nearly a year later, I've ended up with this quilt that is still being added to. So I'm planning on probably wrapping it up when we're allowed to stop wearing masks, then I'll stop making the quilt. Part of the reason I needed something to kind of keep my mind occupied, other than everything else that was going on for all of us, was that in May last year my mum was diagnosed with terminal cancer. So it became really vital for me to use my craft and making as a kind of form of comfort. So doing the blanket was, especially as it grew and started to cover my knee, it was providing me with like warmth and comfort. And this idea of like stitching the hexagons together, I felt like at a time when I kind of felt like I was unraveling a bit, I was stitching these pieces together and it was holding me together at the same time. Now when I look at it, I see all the masks that I made, and it's also offcuts of clothing commissions as well. So I see the people that I met through those commissions and the relationships that were formed because of them. You know, it's so bright and colourful, and it's the complete opposite of what really was a dark and, you know, like visually probably quite monochromatic time. So it's just great to have this sort of silver lining to come out of that hard time, which will hopefully one day be a family heirloom that I can talk to my kids about that horrible year we had and how we all stuck together and how people helped each other and how people helped themselves. And I'll always remember I took it because my mum lived in Italy, so I got to see her last August for what was the last time. So I took the quilt with me, and that was a real comfort making that together during that quite emotional time for both of us. And I'll always remember being sat in my mum's garden under her Sharon fruit tree in a hammock on a really hot August day, stitching the quilt while she sat beside me and cut out paper templates ready for me to make my next hexagons. So that will always be with me now.